evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone, wherever you are watching us from. This is your regular show, Connect with Comfort show, and I'm your regular host. I remain Comfort Eyitayo. On this program, we aim to add value to people and business enterprise as well as personal growth. Each show is organized to feature special guests who are subject matter experts that helps us to throw more insight into the show and the topic of the day. Today, we are going to deal with a very interesting topic, and the topic is the profit code, cracking the secrets of unstoppable business. I'll take that again, the profit code, cracking the secrets of unstoppable business. Every successful business you admire, whether it's a global brand or a thriving local enterprise, has one thing in common, and that is it has unlocked a unique code for generating consistent profits, sustaining momentum, and weathering economic storms. But let's be honest with ourselves, these secrets are not locked away in some distant vaults. They exist in patterns, principles, and disciplined strategies that anyone willing to learn, adapt, and execute can apply. So today we will go beyond the surface of sales and numbers to uncover the deeper drivers of profitability, which I believe most of us are interested in. This will be taken from understanding the psychology of customers to leveraging data, building systems that thrive even when the owner steps aside, either retire or has moved on to other things. We will challenge old assumptions, decode the habits of unstoppable entrepreneurs, and equip ourselves with the tools to not only survive in business, but to thrive with unstoppable growth. So whether you're a startup or a dreamer who is yet to start up, an experienced entrepreneur, or a professional seeking to scale up or scale his impact, today is your opportunity to take a closer look at the profit code and perhaps start cracking your own. So let us dive in and unlock the secrets of profit code together. This we shall do after this time out. Please remain connected. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Being relevant in your field of occupation is proof that you are properly educated. When my parents and I were thinking about my university education, Owen University Iwo was our first choice. Bowen University helps you to get the most of whatever course you're studying and also educates you on how to excel in a competitive labor market. From the day I arrived here, I knew when I would graduate, and my mind has been positively transformed since then, thanks to my able lecturers. My name is Salome. I am a medical student, a sanctuary keeper, and a violinist at Bowen University. To the medical world, remember my name.
Bowen University, for excellence and godliness.
You are welcome back. We have our guest in the house already, patiently waiting for us to beckon on him. Today on Connect with Comfort Show, we have the pleasure to introduce our special guest for the day, Mr. Damilare Akinsiku. Damilare Matthew Akinsiku is a dynamic visual and marketing communication expert, client services executive, and publisher with a career spanning over 2 decades in creative design, brand storytelling, client engagement, and media. He currently serves as client services executive at Ipsos Nigeria, where since 2021 he has been instrumental in delivering impactful visual communication and client-focused solutions that elevate social research projects. Alongside his corporate role, Damilare is the publisher of Loon Magazine, a vibrant lifestyle publication that celebrates outstanding Nigerians across the globe, spotlighting stories of excellence, creativity, and achievement. Previously, he founded and led Real Dreams Media Limited for nearly a decade, building a reputation for high quality creative solutions for businesses and organizations. He also served as partner and executive director, media at Heat Africa, a UK-based social enterprise where he drove strategic media initiatives with both local and international reach. His experience includes marketing communications, leadership at IQ System Solutions Limited, and his early career success in banking started at Guarantee Trust Bank. Damilare's work blends strategic thinking with creative execution, and he is passionate about telling stories that inspire, connect, and leave a lasting impact. Please join me in making welcome Mr. Damilare Matthew Akinsiku to Connect with Comfort Show today. Damilare, you are most welcome.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for
much,
joining
man.
us today.
I'm very
Thank
happy to be here. Thank you.
thank you very much. So we'll go straight to the first question to help us to understand what exactly does the profit code mean in the context of business growth and sustainability.
Thank you very much, everyone, and to all the listeners from all over the world. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm very happy to be here. So, profit code. As the word stated, code is like secret. Code is like secret. So when you say someone gives you a code, is like your secret, your special secret to get something done. So when we're talking about profit for business, we're talking about your principle, your strategy, the things that you put together based on your understanding of the market and your business to consistently deliver profitability. Because as we all know, the whole essence of doing business is to add value and then make profit. So it's very possible to do business and not add value. It's very possible to do a business and not make profit. So for us to achieve the two, the profit code comes into place, and the profit code comes as a result of experiences around the business. So the profit code refers to that secret, that strategy, that principle, that formation that we put together. If you put it, look at it in football terms, the formation you want to use to execute a particular match. The profit code refers to that strategy that you put together to ensure that your business is profitable and viable over a long term, not short term. So the code is something that you use over and over and over, that you edit, you amend as you go along, but it ensures that your business, stay viable and stays profitable. That is most important, because if the code is not profitable, then it means that the business will last for a while. Like a lot of us, we've put our hands, we tried our hands on a lot of things in the past, and it's like that for every business person. I don't know any business person whose story is that I picked this one thing and that is the only thing I don't know. So for everything we put our hand on, we gain a certain experience. If we don't lose, there's no experience that is lost. So you do something, you learn something, you do another thing, you learn another thing. Based on all of these experiences and your understanding of the market, you churn out a code for yourself. You build a strategy that allows that business to work, to be viable, and to be profitable over over a very long period.
Thank you
So
very much.
what we're talking about, and I'm saying we look at a lot of things to make this, to create this code, consciously or unconsciously. We're looking at the market that we're working in, the product of the service that we're creating. We're looking at the efficiency of our processes. We're looking critically at the value that we're delivering, right? And then we're also, building trust in the process. All of this makes up our strategy, our principle that we use. That's what the profit code means.
Thank you very much for that detailed explanation. So, how do we define? Talk so much about the profit code, well, quite understood. How do we define unstoppable business? Is it about revenue, resilience, or relevance?
Okay, so if we get our profit code right, and then we want to we're building a business that is unstoppable. It cannot be about revenue alone. It can't be about resilience alone, and it cannot be about relevance alone. I mentioned earlier about profit code, how our experiences and understanding of our market determines the strategy that we put in place. So when we're talking about unstoppable business, you're talking a business that is viable and profitable over and over and over a long period of time. So an unstoppable business will bring these three together. It will bring revenue, it will bring resilience, and it will bring relevance all together. That is what makes an unstoppable business, because Revenue is the income that makes your business continue to grow. If you have revenue and you're not resilient, so resilience is you have grown the business, you have devised a profit code to a point where if there's a shock, your business will survive. If there is COVID, for example, your business will survive. If if a competitor comes into the market to disrupt the market, your business will survive. Resilience is very important. So if you have money coming in and your business does not have resilience, then the business cannot last. It can't be unstoppable, right? And if you have resilience, you've learned the trick, you've developed, the strategy, you have the profit code, but you have no revenue coming in. There's no business anyways. And then relevance, understanding the market makes us so a lot of times what we find around when I talk to new business owners, startups, is a lot of young people want to create based on the idea that they like. So they sit in the comfort of their home and then they tell you, oh, I have a great business idea. And then my question is, you have not tested it in the market. How do you know it's a great business idea? Because an idea is only great and will become unstoppable if it is relevant in the market. It's not about what you want to sell. It's also majorly about what people are willing to buy, the value you're bringing in, and they're willing to exchange money for. So you need to have relevance and stay needed, stay wanted. People must want to buy you. People must want to take what you're offering in exchange for value, for money, to be in business, to have an unstoppable business. So if you have revenue coming in and you're not relevant in the market, you don't have a business. If you have resilience and you're not relevant, you don't have a business. An unstoppable business is one that is able to merge these three, such that you have your revenue, you are resilient in terms of when anything comes, you are able to either diversify or re-strategize to stay afloat, and then also you stay relevant in the faces of your consumers, of your clients.
Thank you very much. In the light of that, how can a company or a business move from unpredictable profits, like businesses that you are not sure the profit is like up and down like a yo-yo, unpredictable profit to a consistent, scalable profit model?
Thank you very much, man. So that is a very interesting one, and I'll refer to what I just said now about people going into the market based on what they think is a beautiful idea. Meanwhile, in the market, it's not what the consumer wants. It's not what people want to buy. So if you have a business that is unpredictable, unscalable, unprofitable, then you need to understand first, why is this business not predictable? Why can I not have sure assurances on certain things, on income, on resilience, on revenue? Why is there a problem? If you can identify the problem, then it's easier to solve. Now, when it comes to business, we're selling something. We're selling service or we're selling a product. In the midst of all of that, you need to find what is not working. We need to be able to find what is working. So, because we get carried away with the dream, the idea in our head, this is what I want the business to look like. This is where I want to position it. This is what I want to sell. This is how people react to what I want to sell. I have a conversation recently with someone trying to set up a supermarket in a residential area. And one thing that they failed to understand, I had to bring their attention to, is how people react to the service you want to render. So in this instance, you want to create a neighborhood store where people in residential area can drive past and buy stuff. But you're not considering how people shop. So you're driving on the road that leaves the estate, the entire area, and you're looking for a property on the right side of the road where the store would be. I am not saying it won't work, but you won't get the same result as if the property, if the is on the left side. Why do I say that? People do not usually shop for household items when they're heading to work. They shop when they're coming back. So it is better now that you have a choice. You want to be on the side where people can find, ample parking space, good visibility on their way back from work, on their way home, not on their way out in the morning. I won't, except I have something specifically I want to buy. I will not drive to shop when I'm going to the office. I'll do when I'm coming back. So I'm saying, if you look at the business and you understand that now the business is not predictable, then the first thing to do is to diagnose, look inside. What exactly here is not working? If you can identify it, and then you can now tell what have we done wrong? Why is this thing not making money? In the means of while you're doing that, you also will be able to identify what is working. So if this is the thing that is bringing us more money, then that is what we need to pay attention to, right? Another problem that I will talk about that is also very common is, a lot of us start businesses, and also me, a couple of years back, we start businesses from where our dreams started from. We don't start it from where we are actually in real life. So my dream starts my laundry business with a van that is branded something something. Meanwhile, I have not had the first customer working. I have not made the first 1,000 naira. But then I've invested so much, and then I'm there where my dream started, and the clients are not coming in. I am not. I don't know how to bring in the clients. I don't know how to execute. We're not talking customer service. We're not talking retention of customers. We're just, so a lot of times, if we look at our costs, if we look at the business, we'll be able to identify why the business is unpredictable, diagnose what the issues are, pick the ones that work and the ones that are not working. And for bigger businesses, it's easier. You you work with data. We're in a digital world where a lot of businesses now rely, on insights derived from researchers. So you do a bit of research, understand the market, understand your audience, understand your customers, and know precisely what they want. So in summary, it's just to it's like you want to consistently stay profitable, then you really need to understand your business, understand what works and what does not work.
Fantastic, fantastic. So this is a keynote for us as business owners or startup to note that the point of starting a business, you may have some idea, but what's the reality as at the time you are
Yeah.
starting? And this is very, very key. Sometimes we mix it because by the time we are conceptualizing the business, there are some factors at play which may have changed or shifted significantly by the time we're executing our strategy. Thank you very much for that in-depth shared on this particular point. So, as a form of strategy and the execution of our plan, of our dream, how does, or let me say, what role does innovation play in decoding the profit formula as we have explained it today in the competitive market?
Yeah, thank you for that. That's an interesting one. So when we think innovation, we think innovation as something that we do. So we start the business, and then on the business we try to to innovate, right? Innovation is not something that comes after a business. Innovation is what the business is about. Because in most cases, what you want to do, they say that the biggest lions grow from copycats. Someone is doing it before, maybe not exactly the same way. Someone is doing it. You want to improve on it. You want to create a new market for yourself based on certain understanding. Innovation starts from the beginning, especially in a world where everything is the same. Differentiation is what sets you apart, and innovation is what brings this differentiation. For you to innovate efficiently, you need to understand the market. You need to understand people, especially within the space that you're playing in. You need to understand how your product or your service impacts people and how people think when they want to relate with you. So innovation means that I am in the same market with all of these competitors. I want to make the customer choose me. How do I do something different if the customer chooses me if I don't try to be the customer myself and understand how the customer thinks? If I understand how my customer thinks, then I know that these are the things I need to do differently. For instance, I bought the product, I did buy the product. I buy the product, and the product was 500 naira. And after the product became 600 naira. And I started to feel reluctant to add the 100 naira to the 500 naira and make it 600. And then that is where innovation comes.
Like we lost the guest temporarily because of network. The network was cracking. I hope he will join us soon. He was trying to explain to us the importance of innovation, but by his own description, it's not something that okay, he's
Hello?
back. Yeah, welcome back. Damilare, welcome back. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I lost the signal for a minute. So I was saying,
Yeah.
so I would rather have a product that allows you to pay with one single note than two notes. And it's the way I think as a consumer. So I'd rather still have you pay 500. I would find other ways to ensure that my price does not go beyond you using just one note to pay. So I'll stay on the 500 or stay on the 1000 than the 1002. Because the minute a typical Nigerian on the street needs to add another note, he moves to an alternative. Especially you are in bigger trouble if there's a close alternative to your product that is still sitting at 500. If you go to 600, you're on your own because we'll stay with 500. So what I'm saying is, for us to be able to innovate in this market, and markets are peculiar, and also is also a function of the product or service you're selling. It would differ from. We need to understand the market. We need to understand because innovation helps us to be differentiated. Innovation helps us to get loyalty from customers. It helps us to improve our source of income. When you do something different and people feel attached to you, then they will stay with you, right? So it's an accelerator of profit for us to see our creativity into it. And then that's where creativity in, and no matter the business you're doing, you have to bring your creativity into it. You have to do it in a way that it is easy for people to use. I'll give you another typical example. There's a particular app that I use for dispatch within Lagos. I use it often, but every time I click the app and it opens, it's asking me my name, it's asking me my address, full address, house number, is asking me my phone numbers. It asks me like 6, 7 questions. And then I put in all of that. It takes me to another page and it tells me to put in all of the details of where the courier is going to. It was very tasking. I would use it, but I would complain. and then suddenly someone introduced me. It's another app that will do the same thing and will ask me only one question. And in the last 6 months, I have not used that further one. I have not used the first one. I've stayed because this one was I opened the application, I put in just one detail, and I'm good to go. So that is that business understanding how people think, and they've innovated. If I can leave that first other app, and I know a lot of people will leave because it's not convenient, right? That's what innovation is. So for any business, you have to be if you want to stand out and you want to stand out in a profitable way within this market, then every day you have to think creatively to be innovative in within the market.
Thank you very much. We have a question from one of our online audience. Taiwo Ojo from Abuja asks, why is it that customers desires stroke request for what the business does not have?
Now that's a beautiful question, and that is if you find a customer who is requesting for what you do not have, then you should take that as a plus. That is insight. That is somebody telling you what the market is saying. That is somebody telling you this is the kind of thing that we want. So you can have a product. You can have a product in the market, and you will think that is the best thing until you do something different. I'll give you a typical example. A couple of months or years back in Lagos, when bike riders used to carry passengers, when the states came around and said, no, we're going to stop it, everybody started complaining. What would they be eating? Why would you take them off the road? They can't carry passengers. Boma, those bike riders are way better off now doing dispatch than carrying passengers. Because in places where you used to carry maybe 500, 1,000 naira, bikeman is charging you 8K and he's doing like 4 or 5 of it on the stretch. Who would think that that time would come for them if they did not stop carrying passengers? So it is if a customer asks you, now it's not every time that a customer asks for something. If you don't do it, I mean, it means you don't provide that service. Either you tell them you don't provide it or you're able to provide it. But such question we should take as gold, is value. It's telling us right there on the streets in the market, customers are looking for this every day. There's a gap somewhere that needs to be filled. So customers will always ask based on what they want, and what they want is vital for us as business owners. I said earlier, it's not always about what we always want to give. I did it several times, several years ago. Oh, this is a brilliant idea. I need to introduce it into the market. I'm quick to introduce you. Oh, this is how. And then after a while, you realize that people are not following you. People are not buying the service. People are not interested in the product because really it's just your own beautiful idea. It's not what the market is saying. So rather than if you're not, and you see, corporate organizations, individuals at the very high level go into this market, they pay a lot to do research and get insight into the mind of customers, and they base their production and service rendering on those insights. So if this customer is bringing it to you to come and ask you, then it's a plus.
That's very true. Like it's an indicator. In fact, you may not even be thinking of that business, and it could
Yeah,
be an add-on to your business in terms of additional business line,
absolutely.
which is not
Yes.
totally outside your scope. So it's really a good thing, except if it's totally out of your way. You don't force yourself just because one customer or two ask, and you
Right.
feel compelled. But definitely, it's something worth looking at. Thank you very much for that response. Now, that's one side, or as an indicator. If we look at financial indicators, what financial indicators should business leaders track religiously to stay unstoppable?
Financial indicators to stay
Yes.
unstoppable. I would say, from my experience running my business, I would say that you need to understand the what I call the economic of units. You need to understand the economic of units. You need to understand your numbers. Um, a lot of business owners don't understand this thing. So you don't understand the value of one customer. You don't understand the actual value of one product. You don't understand the actual value of a service you give. And I give you an example. Somebody comes to me and he tells me, I want to print so number of letterheads. And I said to the person, oh, I'll print it for you for 20,000 naira, for example. Now I have a printer, I have a staff that runs the printer, I buy toner, I use power. A lot of times we don't factor in a lot of things. In our head, we just think, if I buy this thing for 10 naira and I'm selling it for 20 naira, I'm making 10 naira profit. No, you're not making 10 naira profit, because if you factor in your time, for example, the time it takes you to go to the market to get that thing, if you factor in the transportation cost of that thing, if you factor in a lot of things, at the end of the day, buying that product for 10 naira and selling for 20 naira is a loss if you don't understand the numbers. So for me in my business, and I see a lot of one of the challenges that I see around is people start up businesses and they have other sources of income. So someone starts a very big business somewhere in Lagos, and the people, the members of staff that are working and they're making sales, and then this person has another business somewhere, maybe work with a government agency or something, and is making money. And from time to time, they pump this money into this business and don't realize that the business itself is not making profit. And after a while, the business dies. And you're wondering, but we're doing everything well. No, the business is not sustainable. It's not making its own profit because
No
you
source
have
of
another
income.
side business, yes, that you're pumping into it. And you see, most times when this business dies is when that owner loses the other source. And then suddenly the business cannot sustain itself. And the reason is this: if we understand the most important economic factor for me is the economic of units. If you understand the margin, if you understand the profit, if you understand what one product is worth correctly, the business will not die. If you understand what it costs in terms of value to gain one customer, if you put a value to it, then you will not be very happy to lose any customer. Big business understands this. So you know that it costs you a lot more to gain a loyal customer than to retain one that you have. So you will not treat people shabbily. You will not have customer service people who don't care, who are rude, who will not treat them well. You don't want them to go. If you understand the numbers, if you have a figure, if I have, so I tell my member of staff, if this client walks away, this is the value we are losing. So when that client is talking to you and you want to be rash, and you remember that number, that if this person walks, this is what we're losing, you will calm down. Don't just say, oh, this is a root cause. No, because we will spend three times that amount to get another loyal customer back over a period. So we want to retain them. So understanding the numbers is very key for me. If it's a product you're selling, you have to rightly understand what that product is worth. It's not just about I bought it this amount, I'm selling. No, you have to factor in everything to know what is what. If you service what it takes you to move from point A to point B to deliver that service. I'm going to Abuja to deliver a lecture. They said they'll pay me 1 million naira. It looks like a lot of money, but then if you look at the business of it, my flight, my time, if I put it all together, if I put value to it and it's worth 1.2 million, then that trip to Abuja is a total loss. So understanding the units, if it's a product, if it's a service, your customers, understanding the economic unit of every element in your business is the most important for me, for your business to remain profitable and unstoppable.
Fantastic. That is key. So don't just look at your costs superficially as what you pay for a unit, but there are other hidden costs that
Cost,
are
yes.
woven into it that brings the total cost to bear. So that is important for us before we start thinking either we are on the right track or not. But in all this, can cost control or smart investment or reinvestment be woven into this profit code?
Okay, yes, yes. I mean, cost control. So, and then reinvestment. So remember that when we talk about profit code, we're talking about viability and profitability over a long period, not just now. So if we're controlling costs today, it's not just for it's because we have an understanding, we have a vision that this business is not just for now, it should not die now. So cost control, yes, major factor of your profit code because it is what ensures that you stay afloat, you stay in business today. Now, reinvestment, we're talking about you have made money from the business, you are bringing it back into the business. It's because you want this business to last a very long time. So if that becomes part of your strategy, some of these things is interesting how we learn them in school. You learn them during NBA. But if you look at very old people like my grandmother, some of his understanding comes to them naturally. I remember one session I had with my mom. It was a long time ago, and right there in the Mushi market, she used to sell fabric when she was alive. And a customer bought something, and she took the money. Right, the customer took the product and left. As the money came to, I was in a shop. She divided the money straight into three. This is a woman that did not have any form of formal education. She divided the money into three, and then at the tip of her wrapper, she put one there, and then there was another pot somewhere. She put another one there, and then and I looked at her and I said, "Grandma, why are you doing that?" And she said, what she did years later, I saw it in economics, I saw it in formal education. Like, okay, how did it come to that? This one is goes back into the business. That no matter what anybody does, nobody can take this one. That is their own strategy. That was, an elderly woman devising a profit code to say, for this business to remain profitable at the long run, I had to consistently adhere to this principle, right? So cost cutting, yes, we watch, where the leakages are, try to block them and all of that. But then reinvesting it back into the business, they are vital, integral aspects of profit code because they are the ones that will ensure that this business does not die anytime soon.
Thank you. How can organization culture be engineered to drive sustainability profitably?
For me, for any organization, culture is very important. Culture is very vital, and I will tie my years of working, running my business, and in the corporate world. Organizational structure usually are somehow dependent on the leadership of the business. If if someone with vision leads the business, it defines the culture in the organization because behaviors, decisions, and priorities will be based on what the culture is. So organizations need to understand that their culture overall, the leadership, the people will determine the culture. The culture will determine the direction that the organization will take. I said earlier, you need to understand your business. You need to understand where there's so many. I've seen so many businesses where we channel a lot of energy and resources We channel a lot of energy and resources into parts that are not profitable, into things that are not profitable. Because in some instances, you also want to cut costs on things that can bring profit eventually to the business. So there is a space of vision and actual understanding of the business. Because if you don't know where to cut the cost and you don't know where to, do the business properly, then everything will go wrong. So for organizations to remain profitable and sustain profitability, then they need to be able to understand where the money is coming from. People in the organization will also need to have a level of financial literacy. They need to understand. People need to understand their KPIs, know how whatever it is that they do affects the business in general. If your staff members don't understand that, then it's a big problem. There is a value that I saw in the last 3 years. I've seen a lot of values. So organizations come and they tell you different values, but there's a particular one that got me really intrigued over the last couple of years, and it's entrepreneurial spirit. Initially, I thought when I first saw it, how is this a value? But it's almost the most important to me right now, because if you have staff members who have entrepreneurial spirit, it is easy for them to think the business as their business. And at every point, they're saying, if this was my business, what do I do? So, in that way, people would work to add value and not just be doing activities. Organizations need to ensure that everybody that works for you along the entire value chain is there to add value, and they are not just getting busy for nothing, right? Organization needs to encourage collaboration amongst everybody that works, for them to get the best. So that's how, in some ways you have to. And I will end it by going back to leadership. A profit driving culture is not built by chance. It's not an error. It's not something that just happened. No, it is built intentionally. It is engineered for profit. So the leadership will lead by example, will show the way, will lead the way, and the other members of the team will follow. So say, oh, we want to be able to achieve this and this, then they have to be intentional about their culture, have to be intentional about their priorities, they have to be very intentional about their behavior to ensure that everybody at every point is not just busy coming to the office and I spent 8 or 9 hours and I'm going home. No, whatever space you cover, you have to add value to the organization.
Fantastic. If you have a parting shot within 1 minute, what would it be on this very unique topic?
Okay, thank you. On profit code, I would say that for business owners, it is very important that you have a very good understanding of two things: what you want to offer and what the people want. You see, what the people want is very important. And the interesting thing is, um, the people sometimes don't know what they want until they see it. They have an idea, but then someone goes to the market and say, "I'm going to this store to buy a shoe," and then you ask, "What kind of shoe?" He's not sure. "I just want something nice." So when I say understand what people want, is not specifically the kind of shoe, it's something nice. So if they by the time they get there and they see there's something nice, they know, oh yes, this is they don't know, in specifics. So it's very important, because if you come to the market with just your, oh, I have this beautiful idea, and the market is not buying it, then the profit code will not work and the business will not be sustainable.
Very, very instructive. Thank you very much. In the
It's
course
my
of the
pleasure.
program, we had some regulars joining us. I would like to appreciate them. Taiwo Ojo from Abuja, Samson Ajibade from Lagos, Jagunokunle also I believe from Lagos, and other people maybe that have not been able to pick their name joined us. We appreciate them for staying tuned to this program. I hope they have been able to learn one or two new points from your contribution today. On that note, I would like to appreciate you highly. Damilare, you have done wonderfully well. You have shared
Thank you.
great insights on this topic, and our desire is to make sure that in our own little corner, we are contributing to the growth of businesses and even personal growth of individual through all this training, so to say. So you have done much on that today. We appreciate you highly. Thank you very much. We wish we can go on and on, but the clock is ticking. So as you know, the show is for 1 hour. We have to stick to the time. But maybe one of these days we'll ask you to come back and help us to share insights on other similar, very important topic. So thank you once again. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So, audience, as we bring this session on the profit code, cracking the secrets of unstoppable business to a close, I hope we are living with more than just notes that we have taken. I hope we are living with a renewed mindset. We have seen that building an unstoppable business is not just about chasing every opportunity that comes our way, but about aligning purpose with strategy, discipline with innovation, and consistency with adaptability. You must be ready to adapt to what the customer wants, what the market indicators is giving us, both financial and otherwise. So it's very important. Profit is not an accident. This much our guest made clear to us. It is the result of intentional actions, well-informed decisions, and a relentless commitment to delivering value. We must be prepared and positioned to deliver value in whatever we find ourselves doing. The code we have explored today is not locked away in mystery. It is written in how we lead. You know, he was telling us about leadership mindset, the type of leaders will determine the followers. How we serve our customers, how we manage our resources, very important, and how we keep learning and evolving, which is part of our curious mindset, innovative mindset, and creative mindset. So I want to encourage all of us to put all that we have learned today, all these great insights, to work immediately. You can start doing that by auditing your business model to see if it is delivering what is desired by the market, by your customers, and making it what works than what you just desire. He has told us the difference. We should sharpen our strategy, strengthen our financial discipline. All this cost cutting is very important to make sure we minimize our exposure and then remain profitable. And above all, we should commit to being resilient in the face of change or challenges, which is part of life, is part of business, it will come. We have to be resilient, not just throw the towel in at the short, at the little thing that upsets the status quo. We have to be resilient, keep going in the face of challenges. Because when we crack the profit code, we don't just make money, we build a legacy that thrives, that inspires, and that endures. That's the sustainability aspect of it. So I want to thank you once again for your time tuning in to the show today, for your participation, for those that also contributed through question on this show. Taiwo Ojo, we thank you, appreciate you. We also appreciate your dedication to building unstoppable businesses. And at the back of your mind, what you can have as a thing of joy is that in this very tough terrain, maintaining, sustaining a business is not easy. But for being there, for being that dedicated, you are one of those that are contributing to the national growth, no matter how little. So you can pat yourself on the back that you are doing something valuable. You are ministering to other people's needs. Those employees that you have employed or engaged on your activities, they are being paid. They are also getting support through you, and their own dependents are also getting support therefrom. So you are doing wonderfully well. It is tough, but like they say, during the tough time, tough people get going. Don't give up. We pray the time will be good again in our economic climate. The future belongs to those who are ready to unlock it. Let's keep at it. Let's keep being resilient and being good at what we do that we know is keeping us in business. Once again, I appreciate all of you joining us, and I appreciate our guests once again. Damilare has done wonderfully well on this show. I hope you have all enjoyed today's episode. If so, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Comfort Eyitayo. Once you have subscribed, please turn on the notification button, like and share our videos. Stay updated with information about upcoming events, solutions, and offers on my Instagram account, as well as my Facebook account at Comfort Eyitayo. Till I come your way again, let us go forth and crack the secrets of unstoppable business. Thank you. God bless you. Bye bye.